So this is a quick rundown and feedback review of Nobita from Japan. Go ahead and go check him out. He has a video called Top 10 Reasons Not to Move to Japan, and he made a part 2 as well. So there's 20 reasons not to move to Japan. I'm going to go over all of them with you and give some of my own personal feedback and my 6 years experience. Let's go. So first one, he says separation between Japanese and non-Japanese. Yes, of course. If I go to parties or meetups and stuff like that with foreigners and Japanese, usually what ends up happening is Japanese are all in one little group and the foreigners end up going in their own little group. It happens. There's a lot of prejudice and segregation as far as against foreigners as well, especially in the workplace, especially with moving and trying to find a place to live. That is really huge. Yeah, and just because you're a foreigner, some people just don't want to talk to you, or they want to like joke with you, just be like, oh, hey, you're the foreigner, I'm going to try to speak my dumb English and try to make fun of you without you knowing, thinking you don't speak Japanese, but guess what, I do, and so I understand everything you're saying, and then I just don't speak Japanese because I want you to look like the idiot. Nice try. Oh, that just got really deep from personal experience. So number 1, yes, I agree. Number 2, hard to make real friends, at least native Japanese friends. Disagree. 100% disagree. I've had no problem making real Japanese friends. I would say 3 of my best friends that I have are Japanese, and out of those 3, only 1 of them has lived or studied abroad. So take that as you will. Don't agree with number 2. Number 3 is Japanese don't get sarcasm. I had no idea about that kind of humor before living in Canada. So what? That's not a reason to not move to Japan just because some Japanese people don't get sarcasm. Like, it's fine. If anything, it makes it funnier. Let's go to the next one. Number 4. Japanese are fake nice. Honne. Tatemae. Oh, sorry. Tatemae. Yes. 100% number 4. Huge. Japanese are so fake nice. They will be super nice, fake nice to you, and you think that, they're really friendly. People say Japanese people are really nice and friendly people. Unless they're being fake nice to you, in which you probably don't even know that they are. You kind of learn that from experience living here. You can kind of know when someone's being fake nice to you, especially going to a bar and you're trying to talk to a girl or you're trying to talk to a guys. You just know when someone is just being that fake nice. And this also happens in the workplace a lot. Like when someone says, oh, wow, your beard's getting really long. You look like Santa Claus or something, or wow, that's a really nice watch. Translation, you need to shave your beard. Translation, you shouldn't be wearing that watch at work. So in a lot of sense, they kind of often mean the opposite of what they're saying, or they're just being nice because they don't want a confrontation, and they're just like, please go away, but I just can't say that straight to your face. Number 5. People don't have willingness to fix the social issues, so they're likely to remain even after many years. Yes! Number 5, huge. There's a saying, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. So basically nothing changes. Honestly, Japan is one step away from just being a communist country, and Japan would have no problem with that. The people would just be like, yeah, sure. Or they'll just be like, can't be helped. No one is willing to stand up for what is right in this country. It's ridiculous. Like, there's this famous TV show in America called What Would You Do? I would love to do some What Would You Do experiments in Japan. I really feel like Japanese people wouldn't do anything in so many situations. Sure, there are some Japanese people who will stand up. Great. The majority of people just don't care, or they don't want to be the person to speak out about something and have everyone attack them. So there's so many issues. For example, tattoos, or for example, foreigners trying to get apartments and being discriminated against, gay people being discriminated against. There's so many laws that need to be changed. There's so many social issues that need to be changed. No one does anything about it. This is a whole video by itself. But yes, number 5. Oh my gosh, please hear this warning. Pray you avoid this, because if you want to move to Japan and you have not researched or looked into any of this type of stuff before, number 5 and number 4 so far are huge ones. It makes me want to leave as well. Number 6, unnecessary overtime work. Yep. Even if you complete all of your tasks, they expect you to just pretend to look busy. Because why? Like there's this hierarchical system where, like they don't know how to delegate tasks properly. They don't know how to work efficiently. I don't really know what the issue with this is, but basically they've made laws saying that you don't have to work overtime, or there's a certain number of hours that, like a maximum that you can work. So if you're a foreigner living in Japan, you can stand up to it because you're a foreigner. But most Japanese people, kind of like going back to number 5, not willing to change social issues, will just do it. And they'll just do it. And my best friends, they're working really late. I'm just like, why? Just, go home. They're like, no, I can't. Because they want to get ahead. Those people that waste their lives into their company and sell their souls to their company are the ones that get promoted. And if you get promoted, you get more money. And that's the whole game in Japan. People don't understand that they have power as employees to dictate who they work for and what they do. I had a friend who actually was in a business where he had to audit other companies. Basically, he audited one company, and there was one guy who would work later than everybody else every single day for years, and found out he wasn't working on any projects for like the last 2.5 years. Literally doing nothing, but everyone respected him and everyone just assumed he was doing work because that's just the Japanese way in the workplace. Going over to number 7, job hopping is not common. Okay, first off, I don't like that term, job hopping. It's called exploring your options and figuring out what you want to do with your life. That's not a reason to not move to Japan, because you can get a job anywhere. Not anywhere, but there is no issue with you quitting a company and go and starting another one. Like, people think that is the case. It's like they have to stay with this company, or it's so hard to get another job. But no, there's so many options. Employees have the power. Like, companies don't have enough employees at the moment because the population is declining. Like, they literally need employees and are willing to pay tons of money to get skilled workers. And so this is not a problem. Number 7, that's not an issue. Japanese people don't do it, and that's their own issue, going back to number 5. But if you want to move to Japan, that's not a problem. You can always find a job. Number 8, smoking. This video is a little outdated, but yes, since I've been living in Japan, that is one of the biggest culture shocks, is how much smoking there is everywhere. But recently, they have passed a bill saying that smoking is going to be banned in many inside bars and restaurants. There is going to be still some exceptions, but hopefully moving forward, thank goodness in 2020, finally there are banning and anti-smoking stuff going on. Hallelujah, finally. But here's the issue. People will still smoke. In Yokohama, there are little like signs that literally have no smoking, and it's like a $20 fine if you're smoking in these areas. People still smoke there. No one does anything about it because it's a 2,000 yen fine. It's $20. They don't care about a $20 fine if someone stops them and if police stop them and do that. Like, it's not high enough. So of course there's still going to be smoking in bad areas because people are dumb. But A reason not to move to Japan, I mean, maybe if you have bad allergies or not allergies, asthma. If smoking really bothers your lungs or something like that, you may want to hold off, wait a few more years till this gets really pushed into effect and it goes down more, but still issue. Number 9, having a pet is difficult, especially if you live in a small apartment in a big city. Yes, if you are a huge pet lover, good luck. You're going to have to pay a huge fee and maybe even an extra monthly fee just to have a pet in your apartment. It is crazy, and there are huge restrictions on the type of pets that you can have. So best to, if you're living out more in a rural suburban area, maybe it's easier and better and cheaper, or maybe even free. But yeah, if you're a huge pet lover and you're living in a city, yikes. That's all I got to say. That is probably a reason not to move to Japan. But I'm happy without having a pet, so it's fine for me. Not an issue. Number 10, weather. Too hot and humid in summer, cold in buildings and stuff in Japan, and a lot of natural disasters. Yeah, Japan is on an island, and it's going to get destroyed eventually. You have earthquakes, there's volcanoes, there's tsunamis, there's hurricanes, or they're known called typhoons here. Snow and blizzards depending on where you are. I'm from Florida, so the hot, humid summer is not that bad for me. I like it, but you're living in the main cities, concrete jungle, so it's going to be very torturous, and a lot of people struggle with the summers and they hate it. For me, it's not bad. The only issue, mainly only in the cold seasons, is that the trains, which pretty much everyone has to use, they have the heaters on, and it gets so hot and just nasty in those trains that you have to put on all these coats because it gets really cold outside in the wintertime, and then you get on the trains and you're just hot and it's just disgusting. You don't even want to breathe on those trains. So that's my only downside. There also is a lot of rain. So I mean, yeah, if you're worried about natural disasters, definitely skip Japan. There are a huge risk for big earthquakes. Mount Fuji is technically not a dormant volcano. That could erupt, in our lifetime, but we never know. So if that bothers you, maybe a reason not to move to Japan. Now jumping over to the second video, let's keep going. His number 1 in the second video, so let's go through this. Number 11, technically. Reading the air. It's invisible, unspoken rules that Japanese people have. Yeah. But you'll learn that as you live here. Number 2, the Japanese mannerism is complicated. Yeah, but basically it's fine. You can get away with it, and it's very easy to adapt to and figure out what those things are. So number 1, number 2, skip. Number 3, Japanese criminal justice system is broken. Yes. You don't want to do anything wrong in Japan, or you are screwed out of your mind. If someone punches you in a bar, you literally just walk away. You can't do anything as a foreigner because they will always take the Japanese side. Even if you speak really good Japanese, the police will always listen to the Japanese person first and take their story in truth more than your story. And if you don't know this, the prosecution rate is like over 90% or something like that, ridiculously high. There's no way that's legit. Think about that. There's an entire video about this. You can look it up on YouTube about how crooked the Japanese justice system is. So, oh my days, if you love freedom, Japan is definitely not a free country by any means, and this is definitely a reason why you should not move to Japan. Even if you think you're going to be a goody two shoes, you never know when you might just be wrong place, wrong time. Something happens, and they're going to lock you away and keep you in jail or incarcerated for what seems like an eternity without giving you a trial or anything while they research whatever crime that they say that you committed. Dude, it's sketch AF, man. Number 4, dating can be very difficult and different. Now, in the video, he mentions that, they go on, you don't kiss until, like, after you've had, like, 4 or 5 dates and this confession of love thing. I have never had that ever, unless there was some girl that was, like, super naive or something and believed in also dramas and animes that she watched, and that's like what she expected, and that's great. You can have boundaries and stuff like that. That's fantastic. But let me just say that there are so many people, and this system that he's talking about is what? No, that's not reality. I'm sorry. It's not about being a slut or playboy. That's just, I want to facepalm so hard on this part of the video. Yes and no. I think it's really easy to get dates in Japan, both for men and women. I think it's no problem. I think the issue arises is if a Japanese man or woman has never lived abroad, then you're probably going to have really, 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 really hard time in that relationship, because there's so many things that are different culturally. Do I want to say culturally? Not culturally. They're just not as, I don't know, evolved. It's weird to say. But yeah, dating can be very different. But basically, man, I would try to avoid a girl who's never lived or gone abroad. Like, those relationships are really difficult, and I've seen them all fail with a lot of my friends, or people who've gotten married and then divorced. So that's something to look out for. But as far as finding dates, no problem. Number 5, he says, not many job options unless you speak Japanese well. Disagree entirely on that. There are tons of jobs. There are tons of job options out there and opportunities for you in Japan. Just don't agree at all. Number 5. Number 6, people are very non-religious and can be prejudiced a lot. Prejudice, yes. Non-religious, sure, some, or quite a few. But not a reason not to move to Japan. Next, number 7, more and more elderly people. That's not an issue. Basically, it's an issue only because that means Japan doesn't make changes. It's a country run by old people, basically. And if their ideas are passed down to the next people, you have to wait until the youth are the people that are finally getting into the power of this country and then start making changes. So in that regard, I would agree with number 7. But just because there's old people, that's not an issue. Number 8, getting a driver's license can be very hard and time-consuming. This is a whole another video, but oh my days, did I have the worst nightmare of a time trying to get my driver's license in Japan, especially if you're from America, because it's even more difficult for you. Some countries, they let you get it super simple and easy. Some countries, no. I don't even want to go into this because this could take up the entire video. But yes, number 8, yes. But here's the thing. It's not a reason not to move to Japan because most people just take the train. And the trains are a good and bad thing. Like, I don't really want to get started on the trains. But number 8 is not a reason not to move to Japan, though. It's just such a pain in the butt. Number 9, rent is rising in many cities, especially in Tokyo. Yeah, this is definitely a reason not to move to Japan. Apartments are ridiculously expensive. Like, there's a joke by Dogen. If you want to go watch his video, where I'm going to play this clip right now.
5万円弱か。まあでもいい部屋だしな。ここにします。ありがとうございます。それではまず、礼金が家賃の2ヶ月分になります。礼金、あと敷金が1ヶ月分になります。敷金、クリーニング代が1ヶ月分。はい。プラス水道代、火災保険、管理費、ちょっとペット代、教育費、24時間安心サポート、あと駐車場、存在費。
Even if you can find a super cheap apartment that's like $500, you can spend $5,000 in move-in cost. And yeah, there's places like Leo Palace and other places where they have a lot of, free things that go in, but you get what you pay for. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Number 10 is returning purchased goods refund is not a given. Yeah. Okay. And that's not a reason not to move to Japan, I guess. Real quick, I want to go back to number 8 because I saw in the description, you do not have to go to a driving school and to get your license here. I didn't have to. Okay? You don't have to spend the thousands of dollars for that. That's just a complete waste of money. Skip that. Don't do that. It's actually cheaper for Japanese people to go to America, get a license in America, and then come back to Japan and then just have that transferred and then go through that process than it is to spend the ridiculous amount of money it costs to go into driving school. I'm going to go through some of the comments now, and these are juicy. Let's add this to the list. First one at the top says, strict license test is actually a good thing. Lots of undisciplined drivers in other countries, which results to many accidents. Yes, I agree with that. But for example, for me, where I've already been driving for over 8 years, never had an accident, never had a ticket, but I still had to go through this incredibly stupid and ridiculous long process. Reason number 21, Japan is not anime. Oh my god, yes. Just yes. Yes. Not every Japanese person likes anime. Most Japanese people don't watch anime. I never understood why people go to another country without speaking the basics of the language. It's common sense. Because English is a universal language, maybe. Honestly, if you're living in Tokyo or like main cities, you don't need to speak Japanese. Like, and everybody wants to speak English with you, anyways. In a lot of situations, you can find jobs where you can speak English, and you'll learn the basics of the language when you're here. It's not a reason to not move to the country. Sure, speaking a bit of the language helps. But I knew very little Japanese when I moved here, and now I'm pretty good, I guess. So, I don't know. I kind of just don't agree with this comment. The thing he said talks about being an English teacher, complete and other nonsense. Don't agree at all. So basically, as you improve being a skillful teacher, you'll be able to get the students to practice and try and speak, and you don't have to worry about them like being afraid to make mistakes or whatever. It's like, what? And the other thing about improving Japanese, you hit a peak where your Japanese gets good enough, and there's no reason to improve anymore. Like, you can, if you're just coming over to teach, you don't need to speak Japanese. So just get that out of the way. If you're just coming here for 1 year, there's no point. You can just learn a couple words or phrases, and that's fine. I pass. So this thing about Tinder, that he talks about in the video as well. The Tinder is marketed in Japan as a language exchange app. Go watch my video about it. Like, that's it. That's the reason why. Skip. Next. You can't fool me, Nobita. I'm coming to get my 3D waifu. Good luck. His reasons are true. In the 3 years I lived in Japan, I never made a Japanese friend. Even though I worked hard to maintain a relationship, it always felt one-sided. Always hated the Tatemae thing. You really never know if they are just being polite or is their true feeling. I like the Japanese people that made it clear that they did not want to be friends to foreigners like me. Even though it is xenophobic, at least I don't need to spend time in a relationship that would be for nothing. After I went back to my home country, I told my Japanese teacher about it, and she told me that it happens a lot. That's why she left Japan and lived in my home country. It's kind of sad. Relationships with Japanese friends were truly superficial, as Nobita-san said in the video. I formed great foreigner friends there, even though I was most of the time living daily with Japanese friends. Oof. Okay. I'm sorry. You need to learn how to make better friends, I guess. So, even though one of my best friends, I don't talk to a lot, we're busy. you don't have. I'm not able to talk to them every day, but I found that when you make friends with people and hobbies and things that you both like doing, you make better friends. So some of my friends that I'm really close with are actually people that I met online just playing games with. And we still play games together, and that's how we kind of maintain friendships. Um, I'm really sorry you had this experience, but I mean, I agree and I don't agree at the same time. Like it's not that hard to make a Japanese friend, but like you said, it is kind of hard to tell if someone's just being polite or it's their true feeling. But again, you learn that the longer you live here. So, Stefan, what is your own personal verdict? Should you move to Japan? No. There's so many other better countries that are more advanced or are becoming more advanced and are open to change, and their society is a driving force into the future. Japan is just not one of those countries. It is stuck. It is dormant. They're so slow to change. There are so many social issues that they're behind in. Things are expensive, and it, it's just a nightmare, to be honest. Like, come over for a vacation, maybe come over for 1 year to work as an experience, but you do not want to live here long term. I'm planning to move back personally, but I started a business here, so I'm just seeing that through. But eventually, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys enjoy the video. What are your comments or experiences? Please post those in the comments below. I will read through those and I will reply to everybody that posts in the comments. Period. Share your experiences. Post your questions. I got you. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to go check out my streams, join me and come chat with me or play games with me. End of the screen right here now.